How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and this is just a quick, small Q&A video I decided to put up for St. Patrick's Day. Also, a happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone, wherever you are in the world, whatever country, whatever continent. If you celebrate it, hopefully you're having a nice day and enjoying it. Um, yeah, as I said, just said I'd do a small little Q&A video, just kind of to mark the day. There was a poll put up, so it won substantially. So just a couple of questions. So I'll just get into them right now. First one is from Jared, one of my patrons on Patreon, and he asked, "I really like how you have branched out beyond westerns. What other genres are you looking at now, or are you now looking at?" Um, well, like as I said, I'm staying with the westerns, but yeah, as you said, I have definitely branched out. Like the Friday really has kind of become a day for just exploring all different genres. But I think maybe um, I really enjoyed Them last week. I really enjoyed that, and Tarantula, which I watched last year, and obviously the Incredible Shrinking Man. I thought was a brilliant film. So I think maybe more of those kind of like science gone wrong, creature feature kind of. I'd like to kind of check out some more of those old school kind of films. They have a certain charm about them. Um, So I think some more of those definitely. And I think maybe as well, I know it was kind of a comedy slash war film, Kelly's Heroes, which I watched just for Christmas, but maybe explore a couple more war films because that seemed to go down quite well on the channel, that reaction to that film. So maybe some more war films going forward. I haven't really watched a whole lot of those. Um, Obviously, I'll be doing more noir films. I've watched three or four of those. Um, and yeah, like more horror maybe as well, like old horror. Like as I said, generally I prefer to watch um old movies than modern movies. Like if you probably look at the channel, like most of the films are kind of 70s and back, probably. Excuse me. But yeah, for some reason I gravitate more towards older films. I just think that maybe because they were less reliant on kind of um CGI. And I'm not saying all modern films do, but I don't know. I just feel they were more reliant. Maybe there was less. The budgets maybe weren't as big, so you had to be more creative maybe in some ways. I don't know. I can never quite put my finger on why I gravitate more towards films. But the only thing I can really think of why is that because it's further away, I didn't live through that time. And naturally, when you watch a film, you want to kind of have that sense of escapism. Maybe because it's during a time that I obviously don't remember because I didn't live through it at all. That it feels like there's more of it of a release, and there's more of that kind of you lose yourself in the film because it's less familiar, you know. So I think maybe it's that. Like that's probably the only thing I can really put my finger on why I seem to prefer older movies. But to get back to your to the question, yeah, probably like more maybe look at some more war films possibly. Um, and more of those kind of creature feature, science gone wrong kind of films. I think maybe possibly look at some of them, but it's always going to kind of vary for the most part, kind of when it comes to the Friday. Um, like I'm hoping next month to watch The Great Escape, which I think is with Steve McQueen, and possibly The Sorcerer as well, or I think it's just Sorcerer, the William Friedkin film with Roy Scheider. I think that maybe that as well. I'm possibly going to look at. Um, I'm also thinking, I don't know how, maybe you can let me know. I definitely want to watch it, but I was thinking maybe at some point in the year starting Deadwood, the TV show, and maybe kind of on the Western Wednesdays, maybe every second week. So I'll do a film one week, the following week do an episode of Deadwood, then the next week a Western film, and then Deadwood, back and forth kind of. Because I definitely do want to watch that, and I think Deadwood is I've heard as well, kind of like Unforgiven, where it's one where once you've really explored the genre quite a bit, you maybe will appreciate it more as you go into it. But we'll see what happens with that. But thanks, Jared, for the question. Much appreciated. Um, so the next one is from Mary G. If you could play any character from a western, who would it be? Huh. Well, I mean, I guess the one that kind of jumps out at me immediately is the man with no name, from just being such a cool and iconic figure. I don't think I'd be able to pull that off personally, but that would be a cool one to play. It would be really cool, just kind of that um, kind of reserved, but also when he makes a move, you really feel it. This is very much kind of a unique character. Um, I also loved because I love to play villains or shithead characters. I thought Michael Biehn was fantastic in Tombstone. Like I know Val Kilmer gets a lot of the plaudits, and he was great as well. But I was really taken by Michael Bihn's performance as Johnny Ringo. Someone like that, just a real just shithead, just rotten to the core. I think those kind of characters are interesting to play. Like I've said before, I'd always prefer to play Joker than Batman, you know. So I think he would be a great character to play. Um, I think maybe Henry Fonda's character in Once Upon a Time in the West, another just despicable character. That just really like. I mean, that opening scene where he kills the child, like it's just one of the most shocking scenes I've ever viewed. So I think maybe him as well. And then there's another one that kind of comes to mind is from the Oxbow incident. I can't remember. Was it Dean was the guy's name? The husband of the three that are kind of that are being lynched, or that the attempt has been made to lynch them. Um, he kind of shows a lot of emotion, and there's a lot that he goes through. Through thinking about possibly dying, saying goodbye to his wife and his kid, trying to prove his innocence. I feel that character, he goes through a lot in that film, and I think he would be a very fascinating character to play as well. So I think kind of one of those three or four kind of do definitely stand out. Obviously, there's other ones as well, but they're ones that kind of jump out at me that I think I would like to play. But thanks, Mary, for the question, much appreciated. And then we've got sorry to go back. We have TikTok Melody. He's got a couple of questions. So he has first, I'm a New Yorker, large Irish population, and we have St. Paddy's Day parade. Everyone wears green, etc., etc. What's the day actually like in Ireland itself? Um, Probably similar to an extent, especially if you're in like the big cities like Dublin or maybe Cork or Galway. Like they'll have parades today, obviously. I think America does it bigger than any though. I guess maybe it's a bigger country as well. Like, but you see the stuff in America, and it always feels like kind of like they really know how to kind of put it on. But definitely, it's kind of similar kind of thing in Dublin, I said, and Galway probably, in Cork, the cities, the big cities. They would put on a lot of parades, and a lot of people wearing green, and I guess going out drinking, all that kind of thing. But like here in my local village, we actually do it on the day before. I was actually part of it with my local drama group. We did a little float, so it was kind of a parody on a current kind of situation going on in the country regarding RT, which is the national television broadcast. There's no point telling you what it is because you won't, you won't know, obviously be aware of what's going on. But it was kind of just like a parody social commentary piece on that. But I kind of like those smaller ones in the smaller villages because it's not as chaotic. I'm not a big fan of massive crowds personally, but as you said, kind of be like a smaller version of probably what goes on in New York and the bigger places in America. But like that, parades, people playing music, people dressed up in green. So a lot of that going on. Um, but yeah, kind of on a smaller scale, I guess. And then he also has just thought of some more. As an actor, who are your biggest inspirations? Um, to be honest, when I was younger, like, and I still really like the actors, but when I was like a kind of a 1920, Ewan McGregor and Sean Bean were two that I always really liked as actors. Um, they were definitely two that inspired me, especially when I was kind of coming into my 20s. I think Jack Nicholson. I think he's one of my favorite actors. I think he's phenomenal. I really really enjoy his work. I guess if I was looking at like performances though, just like singling out performances. Um, I was always taken by uh, Crispin Glover's performance as George McFly because he was so wonderfully awkward in that film. And in some ways, I kind of identified with him as well, but I also thought that would be a fun character to play. Just like, I think Doc as well, probably. Just going on Back to the Future, just he's so eccentric. I think they would be fun characters to play. They would definitely have been inspired. Um, Jack Nicholson in The Shining is terrific. He really is good. I have to say as well, Kathy Bates in Misery, because she's terrifying, but also just it's a terrific performance. How she can just flick the switch just like that. Um, Joe Pesci in Goodfellas was again kind of like that, playing that kind of a character, just utter just detestable, deplorable figure. But again, I think would be a fun character to play, challenging but fun to play. I think that would have been an inspiration as well. So I think ones like that. I think Jim Carrey as well, just because of growing up, his physical stuff is just absolutely extraordinary. And I gotta say as well, just watching Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton is unreal, and definitely I watch his stuff and I'm like, God, I'd love to just do physical comedy because I did a play before where I had to play a guy. He was like an old bumbling waiter. One Man, Two Governors was the name of the play, and he just got like thrown around the place, got the crap beat out of him inadvertently most of the time. But I was just like going for just flinging my body around the place. And I remember I did it. I had played the part in America, and then when I came back home with the local drama group, I mentioned it. I said this could be a funny play to put on. So I actually ended up co-directing the play because I was quite familiar with it. And I remember thinking I don't want to cast anyone as Alfie because I knew how much I would want that character to push it physically. I didn't want to have to ask another actor to do it. So I was like, you know what? I'll just play myself as Alfie because he's kind of like small supporting character. He was only in like there's like 4 acts and he's only appears in 2 acts. So I was just left to focus on the directing duties. But I felt like I don't want to push anyone and ask anyone to do what I feel Alfie was required, and I knew I'd do it myself. I would just push myself to the limit. Um, a couple of bruises and cuts here and there, but I just went for it. So I think Buster Keaton and Jim Carrey would definitely be inspirations for those kind of characters. Just kind of the real physical stuff they would bring. Um, then he has as well TikTok Melody. Is there an actor you've discovered through the channel, someone who's become a new favorite? Well, I guess I mentioned Buster Keaton as one. I think yeah, obviously I'd loved Clint Eastwood films because I'd seen nothing of Clint really, except Escape from Alcatraz, which is probably still my favorite film of his. But seeing kind of the mark he's made on the westerns, the really cool journey. Still have a couple to watch. Um, Stuff like Play Misty for me, some really good films I've enjoyed by him. But the two in particular, probably I've really, really come to like, are Jimmy Stewart and Henry Fonda. Um, Jimmy Stewart's westerns are always fantastic. I've seen a couple of his films, Hitchcock films, like Rear Windows, terrific film. I think he was great in The Shop Around the Corner, and obviously It's a Wonderful Life. I think Jimmy Stewart, he's a splendid actor. He really is. And Henry Fonda, obviously the Oxbow incident, he was terrific. The Tin Star, My Darling Clementine, but in particular, The Grapes of Wrath. Obviously, it wasn't a non-Western, but or John Ford film. That was terrific. I thought he was brilliant in that. Um, Humphrey Bogart, just for that distinct voice, he does this really distinct voice. But I think the two in particular will be Jimmy Stewart and Henry Fonda. Um, I've really, really enjoyed their films. Two great actors that I've really come to appreciate since starting the channel. Um, and then the last one, obviously again from TikTok Melody, is lastly, you've been hitting Chaplin, Keaton, and Lloyd. Do you have favorites? How do you compare the three? I guess I've kind of slightly hinted at it just a few minutes ago, but I think of the three, Keaton is the one that I get most excited about when I'm getting ready to watch one of their films. I think, for me personally, I think he's the funniest. I think his physical work, I think, is the most engrossing. I think what Chaplin, like they're all really really funny, obviously, but I think what Chaplin, he brings a lot of emotion to his films, particularly in the last one, um, about the what's the name of the great the great or the immigrant with the no, it wasn't that one. It was what was the name of that one? Yeah, in the bank where he gives the card to the woman that is also working in the bank, and she just rips it up, tears it to bits, and then like it's absolutely soul destroying. But like from all this kind of humor that was building into this, just really you really feel for the character. Like there was a lot of emotional weight there, and then you have that dream where they make it seem like he's kind of won the girl, saved the day, and it turns out that it's just like that was a complete dream, fabrication, never happened, which I thought was a great move. But again, kind of lamenting the fact that like this woman that he obviously liked a lot, just like treated him like shit, So that was a lot of emotion, and also the one with the A Dog's Life. So Chaplin maybe possibly has is the best at bringing out that bit of emotion, that real strong emotion. Keaton, though, I think is the funniest. I think his physical stuff is just through the walls. I maybe lied, possibly because I've seen more of his full length stuff. Is maybe the most uh the the most the biggest kind of the most grandeur maybe of a story. Now the general kind of had that with Keaton, but as I said, I've probably seen more of the longer format films of Lloyd so far. And also, he kind of just reminds me of like the original Nerd. Like I can just see stuff that he would have figures that he would have inspired after him, you know. But I think Keaton would get it from me, at least so far anyway. There's still a lot of the films I have to get through, but I think I would go with Keaton. Um, but yeah, anyway, I did that. That's it. Yeah, that's it. It was just a few short questions. But thanks to TikTok Melody, to Mary G, and to Jared for the questions. And guys, I hope you have a really good St Patrick's Day. I will have a short Irish film out a little later today as well. So hopefully you can check that out. And you let me know actually in the comments kind of what kind of genres you'd like me to explore more going forward, or certain films maybe. Um, you can just suggestions if you want in the comments. But again, enjoy the day, guys, and until next time, slán go fóill.